Hey guys, Funkymusic here today, and I just wanted to go over, this is the top parse in Classic. Now, I just wanted to go over a few things on this top parse from Classic as we were talking about it on stream the other day, and kind of just give my thoughts on it and what is going on in Classic. Now, I know clear casting doesn't proc as much like it does on private servers, or Wrath more or less scripted things. So I know Classic's a bit different, but not too much has changed really in Restoration Druid. But I kind of just want to go through the breakdown of this a little bit and talk about this top parse and try to be quick about it because there's honestly a lot here to really discuss. So we're going to go ahead and watch the fight here. I wish we had the actual VOD so I could see where he's standing. So the Resto Druid, as you can see, is here. I don't know why is there a reason why these guys stack up in the middle? They should be like on the outer part of the ring here, for flames and whatnot. So we start off, he's casting Rejuve. Looks like he's already got pre-hots going out, I assume. He does get a Swift Mend off pretty quickly on the tank, right off the rip here. But you're going to see some things. So he's proc GTS here. Pretty much right off the rip. And I don't think proccing GTS is a good idea. Now, we're going to go over his setup a little bit. He is running Rapid Rejuve Glyph, which, I don't agree with that at all. We've been over this many times, why Rapid Rejuve is not as good. Rapid Rejuve really does not synergize well in 25-man. It's good for bosses where there's more direct damage, like Lich King Phase 1, DBS, things like that, maybe even Rot Face, really, where there's not a whole lot of AoE healing. But this is BQL, there's plenty of AoE healing, so I won't get into the details of why Rapid is so bad. I've done videos on it. It's in the Discord why this is so bad for 25-man rating, so if you want to know those things, I'll put a link to the Discord down below. You can read that, and you can watch the video on why Rapid is so bad. But let's continue in here. So he's got one Swift Mend off. He's got a Twilight Renewal. His GTS is procced. Now, again, the reason why GTS is procced here, when he has GTS procced here, the reason why it's bad to have GTS procced and he was casting Nourishes is because you're going to lose healing by doing this. You're going to gain healing more by putting Rapid out. Twilight Renewal, while GTS is nice, it just doesn't synergize as well for us as it does other classes. GTS will only proc off of direct heals, so any heal, that means any heal we have to cast. It's not going to proc off HOTS. So there's a problem with that. With him stopping to do that, it's a healing loss. You're going to be better off spamming Rejuve and Wild Growth for the most part here. Now you're going to see Nature's Grace procced, okay? And I don't know how many times I've had to go over this, that Nature's Grace, the guy is at the, if I can pull it up here, the guy, I added up all his haste, and I do believe it came out to 881 haste from his gear. As you guys can see here, his gear, when you add up all of his gear plus his gems, it's 881 haste. I don't know why he's so far over the haste cap, other than to run extra on his Rapid. That's the only thing I can see here. So running Nature's Grace, again, is really stupid because it's, your Nourish is already GCD capped. At 881 haste, even your regrowth should be, it might be 1.0 something of a cast time, but even regrowth is going to be pretty close to the GCD cap. So I'm not sure why he's running so much extra haste other than to have Rapid Rejuve. And Rapid Rejuve, again, terrible for 25-man content. You want quantity over quality of heals. That's what's going to boost your healing even more and have more effect on the raid. Now, this is I also should mention this is a 3 heal. This is with an H-Pal and a disc and a Resto Druid. So let's continue watching. So I'm not sure why he went for the I've covered this. He went for the 14057 spec. Unfortunately, I can't see his talents, but this means he probably took points out of Natural Perfection in order to get Nature's Grace, and if he's 3 of 3, which I assume he is, it means he either took something out of Living Seed or Empowered Touch or Revitalize. Not a good idea at all. So let's keep watching here, see what he's doing. So we still have only got one Swift Mend. Now mind you guys, Swift Mend is on a 15-second cooldown. As you can see right here, it looks like this guy right here is probably a quarter of his health down, and he's busy casting Nourish. And that Nourish either hit that target, I'm assuming a Hot just healed him and not a Nourish, but Swift Mend would have been a better option there than Nourish, by far. Still only one Swift Mend out. Again, Swift Mend's off cooldown. every fucking 15 seconds, so he should have had that up since he used it right at the beginning there. But there'll come another part here. You can see here, even if he hadn't, he used Swiftmend pretty early. You got a mage that's sitting at about close to about half health, and a priest that's close to about half health, another mage probably a little bit below half health. Instead, he's casting Rejuvenation instead of casting Swiftmend here. Again, when you're using Rapid, this is the problem with Rapid. It needs hot on the target to work. Okay? So, using Rapid, you're getting a lot less targets hotted in order to be able to Swiftmend them. And Swiftmend is probably one of the most powerful heals in the game in terms of how high it can go. So let's go along here. Still, we got plenty of people. We got a Paladin here. It's sitting at half health. Again, only one Swiftmend has been used. It should have been I don't know why he's not using this. I'm assuming because he doesn't have the target hotted. So he's really gimping his Swiftmend here. We're 34 seconds into the fight and still no Swiftmend. And he's got plenty of targets that could use that Swiftmend. So he ends up casting Swiftmend. Let me pull up the amount of cast. Here we go. He ends up casting Swiftmend a total of 5 times, which is not anywhere enough where he should be, what he should be doing with his Swiftmend. You can see he uses it here at the beginning of the fight and pretty much doesn't use it again for the next minute and a half. Now after this, he gets a little bit more. He gets him a little bit more closer together what he should be using this for. And there are instances where you do want to save Swiftmend. Obviously, for Bloodbolt Whirl, when BQL flies up, there's a lot of damage going out. Good time to save a Swiftmend for that. So I understand there being a gap. And this, it was between 215 and about the 240, 235 mark where that phase is happening, where she's flying up into the air. It's right around here. It's about 2.5 minute mark. You can see he casted 13 Nourishes, and we got 1 Regrowth. Now, Heroism was thrown out. Well, Heroism was thrown out right at the beginning here. So we got this whole blue area is Heroism. I'm not sure what the strategy is to hero so early, but when Heroism's thrown out, you should be using Regrowth. I've said this a million and one times. Regrowth spamming while having this out, or having Heroism or Bloodlust out, is the way to go, and proccing your GTS, because not only are you getting GTS to proc, you're putting hots on the targets as well. And because this is a constant AoE damage fight, it's really going to improve, boost your healing a lot. Again, you don't want to stop Wild Growthing in those 6 seconds, so you get your 5 caster Regrowth out, put a caster Wild Growth out there. He is running Hyperspeed Accelerators as well, which, again, I don't know why he's even bothering using these, except to lower his... He's using them to basically lower his Rejuve ticks using Rapid Rejuve. We get 1 Nature Swiftness use. If, again, he could have had probably 2 if he had pre-proc this before fight. We did get 1 Barkskin use. Probably should have had more than those to help out with the raid damage. 1 Vate. But just the lack of Swiftmend, and wow, it just seems like I'd love to see. I don't know if I can find it here if there's overhealing, because there's going to be a ton of overhealing with Rapid out there. So you can see how many times Nature's Grace procced as well. He got 11 clear casts, and if he's so, and you can see from his gear, if I can remember which page it's on, he's running the Insightful Earth Siege Diamond. Like I said, I know clear casting doesn't proc as much on Classic, but it still procs enough. He's also running PT, or where's it at? Where's this? Purified Lunar Dust. So he's also running Purified Lunar Dust, which is actually our 3rd best in slot trinket. Abacus is better for straight up spell power. So I'm not sure why he's running so much mana regen, because he pretty much finished the fight. If I can pull up, here's his mana throughout the fight, and here's where he used his Innervate, obviously. Or no, this is where he uses Runic Mana Injector. He used Vate, I'm assuming, here. Yeah. Yes, Innervate. Here, and then potted here. Okay, so plenty of time. Also, I don't know why some druids really wait too late to Vate. If you Vate pretty early to the point where you know you're going to get the full effect of the Vate, you really don't need it. And I would also argue that a glyph swap, if mana is such a big issue for those on Classic, if it's such a big issue, why wouldn't you just glyph swap out the Rapid Rejuve for Innervate? Because I'm assuming he's using Wild Growth and Swift Mend as his other two. Rapid would, then you could roll in more spell power. You could change out your gems. There's just a lot here. He could change out this gem. He'd be able to change out other gems. A 34 haste rating Quick Dragon's Eye. I don't understand this. And 20 haste gems are never the way to go. And I've gone over this before. If you use 2 of the orange gems, the 12 spell power plus 10 haste, right? So let's say he swaps out 2 of these red gems for spell power and haste. That's actually going to be a boost in spell power, because instead of having this quick amber, you can still get the 20 haste that you need, but you're going to gain a little bit of spell power by swapping these out. Because, yeah, sure, you lose a 23 spell power, but you were getting 24 spell power by making this a 12 spell power, 10 haste, and this a 12 spell power, 10 haste. This is why I've said for forever, Quick King's Amber is not a good. You shouldn't be using it, because the orange gems actually will boost your spell power even more. So, other than that, he's pretty well best in slot geared. Looks like he's not using the RS ring. He's using Malagos, which, it's really, really close. You're getting a little bit more MP5, and I think it's a 0.08 spell power difference by using memory. But anyways, other than that, he's pretty much best in slot across the board, minus he's using Plague Scientist boost instead of the ones from Gunship. Again, I'm assuming this is for some odd reason that he wants crit rating, because the ones from Gunship have Spirit on them and the same amount of haste. So I don't know why he's going Plague Scientist boots. I guess bad drops. I don't know. And then, of course, he's got to use the purple to hit his meta gem here. So there's a lot that's going on with this gearing that I'm not quite sure of. Also, he doesn't have... he's using Great Cloak of the Turn Champion, not the one from Ruby Sanctum. But he does have GTS, so maybe he just has seen enough kills to get the Dusk Cape, because it is best in slot for a lot of players. So, but the boots, I don't understand why he's going with these boots at all. There are better boots out there that boost your spell power significantly more, and having more... Spirit is also going to help boost your mana regeneration, so I'm not sure where he went for critical strike rating, if mana is such an issue for these guys. And again, it's lower spell power, so it's kind of like a double ouch. Yeah. I just don't understand what these people are doing on retail. I really don't. There's like I said, there's just so much that I have so many questions about. Like, why is he using Nature's Grace? Because it is terrible, since all of his heals will be GCD capped, considering how much haste he has. It's incomprehensible to me. Again, Rapid Rejuve is not good for 25 man. Maybe he's a 10-man player, I don't know, but yeah, just not good. And only seeing one regrowth, and not seeing regrowth spam with GTS to put out a fuck ton of hots for the whole raid. Like, if you're going to spam something, you're going to spam regrowth. You shouldn't be spamming Nourish. That's really dumb on his part to proc GTS with Nourish instead of proccing it with regrowth. Again, hyperspeed accelerators, I get it, because everyone wants to do these speed runs. I think the speed runs are so great, yada yada yada. And he's using it in conjunction, like I said, with the Rapid Rejuve glyph. So I get it, but also really dumb. You should be taking tailoring and jewel crafting if you want the 2 best professions for restoration. Druids have Cheetah. Yeah, sure, we can only use it outside, but we can use it on DBS. We can use it on Syndragosa, 2 outside fights. So we do have that option. Plus, we have Kitty Dash. I really don't see the need for hyperspeed accelerators at all. I think that any Rusted Druid running engineering in retail is not min-maxing their character as best as what they could. Yeah, other than that, a lot of questions here as to what their strategy is here. Like, it seems like I said, like he's gimping healing that he should be able to do here. He's really gimping some of his healing, and it really doesn't make any sense to me. why his gemming options are the way they are, why he's choosing feat that have less spell power and less mana regeneration, if mana regeneration is such an issue. Um, you could probably swap out insert in the insightful one for the spell power 2% intellect increase one. That would probably be better if you could swap these boots out for the gunship ones. Maybe he hasn't seen them. Maybe he hasn't been lucky enough to get them. I would assume, since he's got really good gear, that he would have seen them by now. I mean, basically the only thing I can say is, yeah, he could get a legendary mace here, or he could get, you know, change out the cape. Maybe he hasn't seen that. I get that because that's in Ruby Sanctum, but you know, gunship boots really are only worn by restoration druids, so I'm not sure why he doesn't have these, as plague scientist boots are usually considered DPS boots, for the most part at least. So yeah, again, lots of questions here. This whole healing, if you watch through here and watch his heals, I'm just really confused at what he's thinking when I'm looking at, you know, where his raid is at. Like I see 3 people right here in this group that could use a swift mend. One here, 4, 5, 6. You know, there's really 6 people here that could use a swift mend. And if you look at his swift mend, still only one use, 7.5k. That's where it's been since he used it way here. And we're almost a minute into the fight. He's got 6, 7 people sitting at 50 HP or less. Why are you not swift mending? Like, I'm assuming the only reason that I'll accept is that he had a lack of rejuvenated players in order to swift mend. Now, again, there's a problem with this. Is the problem with using rapid rejuve. You want quantity over quality. You don't need fast ticking heals. If he doesn't have, you know, a rejuve on these players, let's say he's got it on, you know, the DK tank or the mage here that's at full HP, all of it's just going into overheals, and they're ticking faster. So unless they take any kind of damage, they're not going to get hit with anything. And then he's going to have to reapply them instead of just spraying more and more rejuves throughout the raid, giving him more options to nourish, giving him more options to swift mend. Yeah, if this is the top parse in retail or in classic for, you know, BQL, and I'm astonished that, you know, how bad the gameplay is here and how bad his choices are here when it comes to, you know, min-maxing his healing. He's really taken some questionable routes as to his spell usage in this, and it's just appalling to see. Like, this is the top parse. Like, I would love, and no offense, this is not like to toot my horn or anything, but I would love to be given this guy's druid and go in here, you know, and play and like really show these guys like how a Resto Druid should be played. Because if this is the top parse, and I've seen the second player's top parse, I've seen the top 2 parses. I don't know if they're in like top end guilds or whatnot. I assume that they're in some decent guilds at least, since they're, you know, have RS gear. But yeah, I'm really appalled and astonished that this is like the best Druid gameplay we've seen. Like, or this is supposed to be good gameplay rather. Like, it's not good at all. This guy is not optimized for anything. He's using the wrong, like, again, the wrong talents, wrong gems, wrong gear, and wrong spells at the wrong times. It's awful to watch. I mean, now we just see him get his second swift mend off finally, and this is sad. Like, that mage that was almost dead, why didn't he? If we just rewind a little bit here, you know, the mage is sitting here half dead for how long? A good while yet. This mage right here is what I'm looking at. So the mage gets low right. Let's see here. Gets a little low. Okay. Warrior's damage stabilized. So right about at the 140 mark, he's got 1, 2 people below or right at half HP, and he's casting Wild Growth and Rejuvenation still. Like, why are you not casting Nourish or Regrowth in those situations? I really don't understand it at all. What the strategy is here. Like, I really don't. And you got more people. You got Yin, the Hunter, this Mage, this Hunter, all sitting at 50 HP or less. It looks like I don't know what he's doing here or what he's thinking. It's really mind-boggling that he's just ignoring all that and expecting the H-Pal and the disc to somehow cover that. Disc has terrible healing. Once the bubbles pop, you know, they have penance, and that's pretty much it besides prayer mending. I guess flash heal, But regardless, just very poor choices. Like this mage should have been topped up a long time ago, and unfortunately he wasn't until I'm assuming the H-Pal hit him. So, like, what did he cast here? Did he cast something to get him up? I thought I seen a cast. Nope, just still spamming Rejuve Wild Growth. But yeah, so I would love to heal as a Restoration Druid in Classic with some decent gear like this, because I would really be able to show how bad this. No offense again, but this is just a poorly executed Restoration Druid that doesn't know how to gear, gem, or even enchant, to be honest with you. I believe his enchants were wrong too. I believe his hands, was it hands? Where's his cape at? So he's got the engineering thing for his cape instead of haste. I don't know why he's got spell power, whatever. If you're so worried about it, why don't you just put 23 haste on your cloak? I really don't get it. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about this, and think about how well he did or did not do. And we can have a discussion about it down below. Until then, see you later.